But this trial is going today. She demanded it.
If we're gonna do a trial, if I'm gonna do a trial, which I think I'm probably just gonna walk on it and not let her do it on her own, but if I'm gonna do a trial today, it will be a jury trial. If I'm gonna try it, I'm gonna make it.
She didn't ask for a jury trial. There's no jury trial notice. You're saying in the future, no, we're having a trial today and it's gonna be a bench trial. Do you need 5 minutes or are you walking off the case?
What good I'm gonna do. It's gonna be a railroad because I don't have a single witness and I've brought up stuff on the case and I can't be effective.
Okay.
With all respect, that's your client's problem. That's not your problem.
And it's not the court's
My
problem.
problem if I stay in this courtroom.
All right, who wants to talk first? Mr. Hill?
These outbursts I'm hearing from the gallery, there may be 8 people who feel harassed or whatever, but I'm not gonna have them sit here and ridicule and make statements behind me about the client.
Okay, I haven't heard a
Your client
word.
should have been here in court.
Don't repeat what you said, whatever it was.
Your Honor, I remember verbatim speaking to you about jury.
Please.
You said that your attorney would have to write a letter for that. Behavior, I'm not even there, but I heard my attorney expressing their behavior.
silent.
Like people and
Be silent.
I'm getting ready to mute you, ma'am, if you speak out of turn again.
My mistake probably was to agree to come in here all day, but I'm not going to lay down and be her high paid or unpaid or high paid but not paid speed bump. I am not going to come on a case to just lead a lamb to slaughter. I'm not ready to trial. I'm informed by Mr. Chandler, who was apparently here last time there was a court date, that she caught me out there and said he'd overheard her when he was standing listening last
I
time.
object to this.
Okay. Go!
Will you hand me my screen box?
Now go.
Miller, good afternoon. Number one, I was told that you've got a hearing with several witnesses or something like that.
I do have several witnesses, Judge, and
All on one case?
all on one case, and I want to advise the court that when we were in here, I guess it was last Wednesday or third, whatever the date was, and Miss Martin, who was the defendant, said that she had an attorney, and her attorney, she gave us the name. I've contacted that attorney, and he is not representing her. And
It wasn't the lady with John I'm sorry to cut you. Was it the one that said she had John D. Camillus?
Yes. Right.
She's
And prior
not
to
in
that,
here.
she said, I've got an email from him saying I'm not representing.
He said that he is not
And
representing
prior,
her
she
and
said
she's
she
not here.
had Mr. Haddad, but I know one Mr. Haddad passed away a long time ago.
Long time
And the
ago.
other about 3 or 4 years ago.
Right.
So she doesn't have him. And as I was walking in, with all my witnesses are outside that I now have in here.
Okay.
The entire floor of the building is here. Mr. Hill shows up and
Jared
says to
Hill.
me, Mr. Hill says, well, I might be representing her, but I got a motion now or I'll be back later. So. And
Okay.
this is Miss
Have you seen her?
is Miss Martin here?
Valerie Martin, deputy, would you do me a favor? Make sure she's not standing out in the hall waiting for, I presume, Jared Hill. That's the only Mr. Hill.
I'm on the telephone.
Oh, you're on the
why are you
telephone. Miss Martin, you set this up for a hearing today.
I didn't do anything, Your Honor. I came and I made an appearance and I tried to talk to attorneys.
Deputy. Ma'am, could you pause one moment? Okay, are you the Valerie Martin that was in here last week and you told us you had Mr. John D. Camillus, or am I mixing this up with something else?
No, I had reached out to John so he would start representation, okay?
So wait a minute, I think the answer is yes, that was you.
Oh, yeah, that was me.
Okay, so
And
ma'am,
I found out that John passed the case on and the attorney,
can
Mr.
anybody
Hill-
hear her?
I'm
Something
sorry, honey.
about, ma'am, you're gonna, I don't know what kind of phone you're using. I cannot understand one word you're saying. So I don't know if you need to speak louder or closer to the phone, but you told us that you were gonna have John D. Camillus here today. And if you're not, Mr. Miller is gonna be entitled to a judgment today.
Judge, Mr. Hill did say something to me outside.
Okay, okay,
But
so
I've got
ma'am,
an
okay,
email. I'd just like to put this in the record.
put it on the record.
It says, this is from John D. Camillus. Great to hear from you, Stephen D. Kier. I'm in the mediation, but asked office to let you know, we obviously are not representing the individual all as well.
Okay, thank you. That is
So
on
that
the
should
record.
Take care of that.
So, in light of the fact that apparently Jarrett Hill may be taking this case, and he asked, this was prior to me getting here, but Mr. Miller is an officer of the court, and he's telling me that Jarrett Hill asked me to put a pin in this until he gets back from, I guess, circuit court motion hour. So ma'am, if you will go back on mute by pressing *6. All right, so we're back. I see Mr. Jarrett Hill has arrived. And Mr. Hill, have you talked to Valerie Martin at all?
Only briefly.
Only briefly, okay, because I
haven't
think
seen
Mr.
the
Miller,
Documents of the case.
okay, so,
Another one to move forward with the trial. All I can say is I'm not ready.
well, no, I would know you wouldn't be ready, but I want to, wait a minute, Mr. Miller, hold on, Mr. Miller. I was just gonna say, but do you see, Mr. Miller has all these people here?
I spend more time talking to Mr. Miller than I have to my own client.
Right, so that's what I was
I'm
gonna
aware.
ask you. Do you need to take 5 minutes to talk to your client, like in the hall? I mean, obviously not on the Zoom. Do you need, I'll give you 5 minutes. I can be cleaning up these other cases
Are
if
we
you
gonna move
need.
forward to a trial today? Because that'd be my motion to continue to give me time to prepare. I haven't seen the
Mr.
pleadings done.
Hold on, Mr. Miller. Mr. Miller is so dramatic.
I know.
I'm a
I
dramatic
can be
person too, Mr.
We all
Miller.
from up in
But hang on, this is, that's why I want you to talk. You all have spoken. I'm trying to recall what this was even about, okay? Give me one moment. I think I remember, but it was last week. A lot has happened since then. So let's go backwards. By the way, Valerie Martin, Mr. Jarrett Hill is now here. And I will share with you that Mr. Miller wants to go forward and that he has half a courtroom full of witnesses here, but I understand that Mr. Hill is not up to speed. So let me remind myself why we're here. Okay, the forcible complaint states this is for other violation of lease, interfering with management and harassment of residents, breach of quiet enjoyment of the residents, loud music, confrontational with other residents and staff. So I'm just kind of guessing that's who all these people are. Would I be correct, Mr. Miller?
Judge, it's a high-rise building. I think it's 10 or 12 stories, 10 stories high. And how many stories?
Where is
16.
it? Okay, Third
And this
Street, I
is-
see. Okay.
This is most of the 6th floor where Miss Martin lives, meaning they're all in apartments other than the maintenance man. They all live in apartments other than.
Okay, all these residents, is anybody staff that's sitting back here?
Yeah.
Oh, three staff.
Their staff.
Okay,
And
Mr. Hill.
And Judge, she said, she told us she had other lawyers, she wanted a trial, and brought them all the way down here today. And
No, I agree. He's entitled, Mr. Hill. That's why I said, if you would like 5 minutes to tell your client who is here and ready to go. The fact that Mr. Miller is here, she swore that John D. Camillus was going to be here, that she had contacted him. I've spoken to her briefly prior to you getting here and me hearing that you may be on this and all of this. And Mr. Miller, and I'm sure he already shared with you that he had a message on his phone, email. Was it an email or text
I can play.
from John D. Camillus stating he was not on this, never had been on it, okay? So we're already dealing with some information that was correct.
Case.
I'm sorry.
If I would be given a reasonable amount of time to prepare. I came in here with the.
She demanded this hearing, sir. She demanded this
There's
hearing.
enough.
We have half a building and half the staff in this building. We are having it today. And that's why I'm giving you 5 minutes. Or if you need more than 5, we're not gonna
can't do
tie
5
Mr.
minutes.
Miller up than ever, but you've got to tell your client, I'm giving you time to advise her as to what's going on here. And I'm gonna be satisfied with probably 1 staff and 1 resident. I'm not gonna
Well, who
call,
knows? Maybe I need the
8
maintenance guy
people.
or somebody else to,
I'm
I
not
don't
gonna
know
call
who to
8
call.
people today, okay?
right?
I think I'm gonna ask Mr. Miller who his 2 best witnesses are, and I think that's gonna be satisfactory for the court. So if you would like to step out, ask your client to remove herself from the Zoom, but this
I'm gonna ask
trial
Judge,
is
if we're gonna-
going today.
if we're gonna-
She demanded it.
If we're gonna do a trial, if I'm gonna do a trial, which I think I'm probably just gonna walk on it and not let her do it on her own, but if I'm gonna do a trial today, it will be a jury trial. If I'm gonna try it, I'm gonna make it.
No, she
big
didn't ask for a
deal.
jury trial. There's no jury trial notice? Or you're saying in the future, you're gonna, no, we're having a trial today and it's gonna be a bench trial. Do you need 5 minutes
I'll
or
talk
are you
with them, but
walking
I
off
don't
the
see What
case?
good I'm gonna do. It's
All
gonna be a
right.
railroad because I don't have a single witness. I'm not brought up stuff on the case and I can't be effective.
Okay.
With all respect, that's your client's problem. That's not your problem.
And
She's
it's not the
one.
court's
It's my
problem.
problem if I stay in this courtroom.
All right,
So,
do you
let
need
me
the
talk
5
with her.
minutes? 5 minute recess.
She's gonna have to call me.
Valerie Martin, your attorney is trying to reach you. You're calling him from a private number and he can't reach you. Valerie Martin, please unmute and call your attorney back. You're calling from a private number, therefore he can't call you back.
I called my attorney. I spoke
Call
with
again.
him.
I'll be back, please.
Call him back, please. Thank you.
Thank you.
Did she back?
She said thank you. So thank you.
Oh, okay. Caller user 3. Call in user 3. Is this Miss Valerie Martin?
I'm here, Judge. I'm on Zoom.
Thank you for letting us know, Miss Martin. All right, who wants to talk
I'm gonna
first?
object
Mr. Hill?
At these outbursts I'm hearing from the gallery. There may be 8 people who feel harassed or whatever, but I'm not gonna have them sit here and ridicule and make statements behind me about the client.
Okay, I
Your
haven't
client-
heard a
Your client
word.
should have been here in court.
Wait, don't repeat what you said, whatever it was. I've been working on my phone, so I didn't hear
I've heard it
anything.
several times, and I let
Okay.
it go, but it's gotta
I need
stop.
everybody to be quiet. We're gonna respect the courtroom. Mr. Hill? I didn't hear anything, Mr. Hill. Mr. Hill, they have been admonished.
Thanks, Judge. I am not gonna come on case to just lead a lamb to slaughter. I'm not ready to trial. I'm informed by Mr. Chandler, who was apparently here last time there was a court date. that she
You're
did
talking about Mr. Chandler, who was here before from the legal aid?
From legal aid.
Okay.
He caught me out there and said he'd overheard her when he was standing listening last
I
time.
object to this.
I can have him come in if he likes it. She
Okay.
requested a jury trial. That's fine. I'm not
Wait a
gonna
minute,
go
hold
forward
on,
with it.
pause for the calls.
Your Honor, I remember verbatim speaking to you
Ms.
about
Martin,
jury
silent,
trial.
please.
You said that your attorney would have to write a letter for that. That's what you told me. Honest to God. And you
Ma'am?
can see how the behavior, I'm not even there, but I heard my attorney
Martin, please
discussing their behavior.
silent.
They can't like people
be
and
silent.
I'm getting ready to mute you, ma'am. If you speak out of turn again, I will acknowledge that if it were discussed that you wanted a jury trial, if that were discussed, and we'd have to play the tape back, then you're absolutely correct. I would have told you that that would need to be in writing. You're absolutely correct. Today, we are here for a hearing, also known as a trial in this courtroom. As we mentioned before, you stated on the record that you had John D. Camillus. We've already talked about that ad nauseum. We're not going to talk about it again. You do not have Mr. John D. Camillus. Mr. Miller read an email from him on the record. We are now here with your presumptive attorney, which
Well-
I don't know. Were you hired to be on this case, Mr. Hill?
I was not paid yet. No.
Okay,
Let me
so,
tell you what, though. I'm
Mr.
not
We
gonna
are
move
now,
forward
wait a
with
minute,
the
hold on.
case.
We are now gonna hear from Mr. Hill. I need you to be silent. If you interrupt Mr. Hill or anyone else, I will mute you. So please don't do that. Mr. Hill,
Given a week or so, I could be prepared to do this case. If I'd had more than this weekend was an exceptionally different weekend. If she had retained me prior to this weekend, maybe.
well, it sounds like she haven't retained
Maybe
you
last
yet.
Tuesday, I would be able to do it.
Has she
I have an agreement.
retained you? You said
I
if
have
she
not
retained me
retained for a
before,
trial.
then you
No.
have not been retained.
Judge, so I would be willing to do it if we could get another date. You know that I could put up a reasonably decent defense if one exists and give it 4 or 5 days. I could do it. I could do it by Friday at the time.
Very
But
good.
here I am, I walk in, she's wanting a jury trial. I haven't even seen the pleadings. I know there's a few witnesses that she might like to bring in, but only found out about that today. I don't have time. I don't have any real time to prepare. It's coming in unprepared is almost as bad as just doing it yourself or doing it.
I understand that. So that is.
So I'm going to leave you with her potentially to do yourself, but I'm going to object that if she's asked or even at the notion of a jury trial, being a layman, she should be given some latitude and allowed a jury trial. I don't know if we could do a jury trial today, given the way the time is ticking by, but if we're going to do a jury trial, I'm not prepared. I'm not willing to lay my liability on the line to do a trial when there may be valid defenses that I haven't had the opportunity to explore. There have been 8 witnesses here. I don't know if there's a witness list that's been filed with court. I haven't seen it, but I haven't seen the pleadings. My mistake probably was to agree to come in here at all today. But I'm not going to lay down and be her high paid or unpaid or high paid but not paid speed bump. Because you're just gonna roll over me. She has.
Sounds like you're withdrawing. Is that
Well,
correct?
I'm not gonna proceed on a sacrificial case.
Okay,
If you give me
Thank you,
time
Mr.
to
Judge.
prepare, I could put up a reasonable
Okay.
defense. I could maybe start witnesses, maybe not. I don't know.
okay.
But as it is, I would object to her having to go forward with the trial today. The way it's going now is just ensuring that she doesn't have legal representation. And the court should keep in mind that this gal's been in this apartment he corrected me at 14 years, 13 years.
Wait a minute, now, are you representing her or
No,
not?
I'm just
Because
gonna-
now
I'm
you're
gonna make
getting
my-
into a defense.
Making my excellent thing. 13 years, a week or two wouldn't make much of a difference in the overall scale of 13 years.
Okay,
Nobody's gonna die from words.
okay. Thank you, Mr. Hill, but
And
it
on that
sounds like
note,
you're
I'm
not
out.
representing her, so I'm gonna stop you at this point.
Maybe
Mr. Miller, would you like to renew your motion? And again, I'm gonna put on the record for probably the third time that Miss Valerie Martin informed the court that she had attorney John D. Camillus and she demanded a hearing today. And so Mr. Miller came prepared with his witnesses. Mr. Miller, this is on for a judgment, and I read before, but I'm gonna read it again for the record, that the judgment is for other violation of lease, interfering with management, harassment of residents, breach of quiet enjoyment of other residents, loud music, confrontational with other residents and staff. Mr. Miller, do you have someone you would like to put on for testimony today
I do,
with
Judge.
regard to those allegations?
Judge, I have pre-filed with the court, 4 exhibits and,
When you say you pre-filed them, I
Oh,
don't
yeah.
know when they were filed. Unfortunately, they did
sometimes
not
things
hit my
don't show up.
folder.
Yes.
Just might be excused.
I
You
got
may be excused, Mr.
Thank
Hill. Thank you. You have a copy for the court. You always do. Ma'am, I'm getting ready to mute you. All right, you can continue to listen, but you are being muted. All right, Mr. Miller.
Judge, I have several witnesses here.
Okay,
Um,
and you remember earlier I
yeah,
asked if you would put your strongest witness from staff and strongest witness
And
for resident, if you don't mind.
I will, Judge. I just
Okay.
wanted to put into for the
Yeah, put
record.
in the record. I'm sorry.
And for the record, I've got like 4 or 5 witnesses here that all live on the same floor of this high rise. And they are the ones who are being harassed, okay? And the management, they are being harassed. And under 406, KRE 406, evidence of habit of a person of the routine practice, whether corroborated or not, regardless of the presence of eyewitnesses, is relevant to prove that conduct of a person or organization on a particular occasion was in conformity with that habit or routine. And that's why I had other witnesses here to prove habit. I don't know that I have to prove habit at this point in time, and so I'm going to put on,
Do you mind starting with your staff member as the
Yeah.
first witness, please? All right. And ma'am, you can sit next to Mr. Miller. I am going to swear you once you're seated. Thank you for being here. Oh, are you normally on the Zoom?
normally I'm.
Oh, okay. Well, nice to meet you in person as well. If you would mind raising your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Very good. You may be seated.
Say
And
your
Mr.
full
Miller, you
name,
may
please.
begin. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, Jim. Say your full name, please, and your position with Hillebrand House.
My name is Cindy Clark and I'm the property manager at Hillebrand.
And what is Hillebrand House actually?
It is senior housing for 62 and over and or disabled individuals. So we have a mixture.
How many units is it?
We have 210.
And it's a high rise?
It is 16 stories tall.
Okay. You are familiar, are you not, with Valerie Martin?
I am.
And is Miss Valerie Martin a resident of the Hillebrand House?
She is.
And did Miss Martin sign a lease with Hillebrand House?
She did.
Okay, and then each year, do you renew the lease in certain ways?
Annual renewal,
Okay,
yes.
so I'm going to refer you first of all to the notice of filing that you've got right there.
Okay.
Here, it is right here. Okay,
And is all this going to be in my packet that you handed?
it is.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, marked exhibit 1 is a notice letter to the defendant.
Okay.
And what date was that?
December 13th, 2024.
And in that notice letter, did you advise her that there was a non-compliance material or otherwise with the terms of her lease?
Yes, I did.
And did you set forth certain items in that letter that actually told her some of the times that she was in material non-compliance and breach of her lease?
Yes, I did.
Okay, and in that letter, just briefly go through some of the violations that occurred prior to the letter of December 3rd. Oh, and before we go further, are those violations still ongoing
Yes.
continuously?
Yes.
Hmm?
Yes.
She's still doing the same things, same ideas, same issues?
Actually, just got a voicemail from her 2 days ago, or not today, yesterday.
So would you consider that harassment of the staff?
Yes.
And how about the other residents and tenants of the building?
I can't speak for the
No.
residents up there,
You-
but I still get complaints, and that's what you're asking.
Okay, and what are some of the dates and what are some of the things that have occurred? Just in general, you don't need to go specifics.
Okay, so, music too loud,
Mhm.
getting in arguments, like opening the door and cursing out at people. I know that, she, violated as far as, using different terminology, different language of what she shouldn't be calling people.
Well, we're in a court of law, just put it into the record.
I
So
will understand if you need to say
We
something
understand that.
that
So
if
you can put it
you're
in the record.
quoting,
Okay,
I understand that, okay?
She actually has called my CEO of the company and called him an MFer. Just because we put a lock on the mailroom, downstairs to where everybody has to come and get the key from the office just to try to be secured with everything. And she got mad because he changed the rules.
okay, and what other
Um,
harassment words?
I have several people that's told me she's used the N-word toward them.
Okay,
And it just, she comes to the door, she just opens the door and starts cursing whoever it is out there.
and how does she on this, what floor does she live on?
She lives on six
Okay,
oh five.
and so there are other tenants on the 6th floor, correct?
Correct.
And do some of those tenants, have they filed complaints with you
Yes.
about things going on?
Correct.
And at the back of here, at the back, after the lease and so forth, there are several documents that are called violations, notice of infractions,
Correct.
they're exhibit 4.
And Ms. Miller, for the benefit of Miss, I'm sorry, what's her last name again? Miss Valerie Martin, if you could name it again, because unfortunately she didn't come today, so she doesn't have the benefit of reading the packet, but if you could, say the, because I'm sure she's familiar, right?
Right, and because of the timing, I certified that, he was hand delivered to her in court and she wasn't in court, so I couldn't hand deliver it.
But again, this.
And that's
This
certified on.
exhibit 4 again is called notice of infraction.
Infractions.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, so just kind of talk, that goes all the way back to August 13th, 2024.
Correct.
Right, and what were the infractions then?
This was just that, she was, and like I said, she opened the door and she was arguing with one of the neighbors. This one was actually someone that's not here today.
Okay, the second one you've got, it's
It's-
dated 7/18.
It's music, too loud, and I actually witnessed that, so.
Okay. These are just examples of some of the examples.
Correct.
Okay, way back in June, what was it?
June was, the voicemails, about the rules of the package room, and that's, she was very upset about.
So-
But she does get a lot of packages.
Okay, so is she doing this not only to the residents, but to the staff?
Correct.
And how is she doing it to the staff? Harassment?
She just leaves messages, she calls, she tells us, she'll tell my receptionist that she's stupid and that, she don't wanna talk to her and she wants to talk to me, and so, it just continuously goes, and then if we don't talk to her, she just continuously calls. We can't deal with the rest of the residents because of dealing with her phone calls.
Now, how has she interfered with the business of the operation?
Well, we've already lost one up there that's moved, and
One what? You've lost?
one resident
Okay.
that left because of couldn't get along with her. And I mean, it'd be a financial burden if I lose more residents because of what's been going on. I don't, the make readies, the rent, and it's not really fair to my residents because they've had to put up with it, and it's just not fair to them.
What does she do? What does she do to the residents when she goes up and down the halls and so forth?
She screamed at them. She called the police on me twice, and I wasn't even around her.
And how about some of the other residents? Is it some of the residents that were here to testify? She called the police
She
on
called
them?
the police on Mr. Johnson back there because he moved her garbage can out of the hallway to move a piece of furniture in his apartment.
And how about the young lady who went someplace on Thanksgiving? She called the
Yes.
police?
Miss Sam back there, she called the police for a well check just to see if she was okay. And she knew that she wasn't even in the building, so she called the police there on Thanksgiving Day just to make sure that, according to Miss Valerie, to make sure she was okay. And
All right. So we've talked about Exhibit 1, when you gave her notice. And when you gave her that notice on Exhibit 1, did you also say to her in that written notice that she had a right to come in and discuss it?
I did.
And where is that on
That
the
is,
third page of the notice letter?
that is down at the bottom,
Mm-hmm.
and I actually give her 10 days to come in and talk to me about it.
And did she ever come in?
She did not.
Okay. Also, you gave her the right to prepare a defense, right?
Correct.
All right. And that in the letter also?
It is.
Okay. And
Would you mind, just to save a little time, would you mind pointing that out to me? It's in the
it's
same
the
letter you're
last,
looking
it's
at.
the last sentence under, you have 10 days
You're also
to come
advised
in.
that you have a right to defend yourself in court. Very good.
And Judge,
Infraction
for
court.
purposes of, without going further, those are part of the things under the HUD regulations that when you give notice, you let the person you're giving notice to know that they have 10 days to come in and discuss it, that they have a right to a defense, and that some of the things are that the violations are, so they can do that.
Very good, thank you
I'm
for
just-
explaining
I don't-
that. So this is
Yeah, I'm
HUD,
citing kind of the
HUD property, so they follow HUD regulation. Very good,
Correct.
thank you.
Okay, and then, how did you send that letter?
I certified it, hand delivered and mailed.
So if you look at the last page of Exhibit 1, what is that?
That's my certification, oh Lord. It's where I went to the post office and I certified it for.
How about the green card? That's the green card, even though it's not
Yes.
green on there.
Right.
Okay. And what's it say? What did the mailman say back on?
She refused it. She went and signed for it.
Okay,
She actually told the mail lady.
okay. So at this point in time, Judge, I'm gonna move to admit Exhibit 1 and Exhibit 4.
Ms. Martin, you may now unmute. Ms. Martin, you may now unmute by pressing *6.
That's
Are you
right.
following along, Ms. Martin?
I'm sorry.
Are you following along?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and Ms. Martin, unfortunately, you're not here in person where the attorney, Mr. Miller had a packet for you, so you're kind of at a disadvantage about not being here, and of course, your attorney,
I
this,
didn't have transportation. I'm disabled. I don't have a car. I don't have any way to get there.
okay,
The
so,
person who brought me the last time hurt her back, and so that wasn't going to happen today. But will I get a chance?
Ms. Martin, I didn't invite you to start telling me a lot of things. I just wanted to let you know that Mr. Miller is introducing the information that we've just talked about. And if you had an attorney here, I would ask your attorney if they had any objection, but since you don't, you're basically representing yourself today. So do you have an objection to the entrance of the, let's say again what it was. It's the letter dated December 13, 2024, advising you of all the alleged infractions as well as the return receipt, etc. And then you said, Mr. Miller, exhibit number 4 is notices of infractions, and these were all the notices, and you did not ask Ms. Clark, I don't think, about how these get served to Miss, did you all talk about how she gets? I would presume these notices are served some kind of way. I don't know whether you all talked about
And
that.
then we take them to the door.
You take them to the door?
Yes,
Tape or take them?
we take them to the door.
And what, slide them
usually
under
put
the
'em
door or hand?
Or hand deliver if she went out
Okay.
to the door.
So ma'am, they're entering these into, plaintiff's exhibits 1 and 4. Do you have an objection?
I object, Your Honor.
You object? Can you tell me the grounds for your objection or why you're objecting that these be entered?
Because I was listening to the things Cindy said, and most of them are fabricated and untrue.
Okay.
In that file, she tried to object me before.
Are you denying acknowledgement of receiving these items?
Yes,
Okay, well, the objection is overruled. I've got testimony, sworn testimony stating that these items were served upon you. All right, where are we headed from here?
Okay, take a look at exhibit number 2, please.
And she's muted back. Okay, we're going to exhibit number 2.
Correct.
Okay.
It's
Ms.
exhibit,
Martin, we're looking at a copy of a lease amendment.
okay, and that is dated, what date?
That's dated 4/30/2024.
And whose signatures is that on there?
That is a DocuSign with Valerie and, or
Valerie,
Valerie Martin
the defendant, and,
Beth Davis, which is my assistant in the office.
okay.
For the
And-
record, do you mind I know we were just talking about DocuSign, so you know I know what it is, but for the record, what is DocuSign?
DocuSign's where they come in the office and they sit with the occupancy specialist to do their annual research. And they go through, they have to use their phone to get a code in order to go through the DocuSign papers on the computer with the agents.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, and then behind that is the original lease that was signed, and I'd like you to turn, if you would, to the page 1 of 9. And on the top of it, who is the lease between?
Hillebrand House and Valerie Martin.
Okay, and if you'll go to, I'm gonna go page by page, Judge, so Miss Martin can hear as I'm going to.
Yes, sir.
There's Nothing on the second page we want to discuss.
And again, this is the original lease she signed.
Yes,
That's what we're looking at? Okay, very good.
and by the way, the lease amendment incorporates the original lease.
With
does
the
it not?
HUD property, so they sign their original lease when they move in, and then each year we just do an annual, 1-page renewal.
Renewal.
Thank you.
Okay, and so on page 3 has nothing on it. On page 4, right in the middle of it, it says 14. Would you read that, please?
The rules, the tenant agrees to obey by the house rules, which are the attachment number 3 of this agreement. The tenant agrees to obey additional rules established after the effective date of this agreement if the rules are reasonably related to safety, care, and cleanliness of the building and the safety, comfort, and convenience of the tenants.
Okay, and if you look at exhibit, before we go, well, let's just go forward on that, we'll go to exhibit 3. And then if you look on page 5, it doesn't have anything on it that I think is pertinent. And on page 6, termination of tenancy.
To terminate.
Number 23, by the way, just in
Number-
case she happens to have her lease handy.
Okay, number 23 and C. It says the landlord may,
Terminate this agreement only for the following reasons.
okay,
The tenant's material non-compliance with terms of this agreement. The tenant's material failure to carry out obligations under the state landlord and tenant act.
okay. And then if you look on page 7 of the lease on the top, it says A,
That threatens their health, safety, or right to peaceful enjoyment of the premises by other residents, including property management, staff residing on the premises.
of,
That threatens the health, safety, or right to peaceful enjoyment of their residences by persons residing in the immediate vicinity of the premises.
and in all the complaints you've gotten over the last 6 months, prior to filing the termination letter that's exhibit 1. Do any of those fit into the category of threats of peace or the right to peaceful enjoyment of the tenants?
I do believe so.
Okay, and do any of them have to do also with management?
Yes,
Huh?
yes.
Do they interfere with management?
It's constant every day.
Constant every day. And if you look on page 8 of 9, that document is signed in person by Valerie Martin, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Would you mind ask what date it was signed?
6/4/13.
June 4 of 2013?
Yes. So we did a rehab and everybody signed new leases on this year. So.
On what year?
On the 2013.
Okay,
So at that point, it's just the one-page renewal after that.
okay. And then if you look at exhibit 3, so it's signed by her is what you're saying?
Yes,
As well as the lease renewal.
right,
All right.
right.
And
Can you share with me who else signed it?
And
That was, Danita Allen. She was the occupancy specialist at that time. She's
Okay.
no longer working for us.
Very good, thank you.
all right, now, if you look on exhibit 3, remember we went back there and we talked about how the house rules are incorporated by reference?
Mhm.
What is exhibit 3?
That is our house rules.
Okay, and how long have they been the house rules?
Since, January 1st, 2015.
Okay, and if you look at the 5th sentence, starting with any violation.
Any violation of these rules and regulations by the tenant or the tenant's family members or guests affords the landlord the remedies at landlord's option set forth in the rental agreement lease for breach of lease.
Has she breached her lease by violating the house rules?
Yes,
Has she breached her lease by violating the lease itself?
yes.
And if you look at the,
Miss Valerie Martin, if you're looking at the house rules, we are looking at number 28, house rule number 28, which is page 3 of 4. Go ahead.
go ahead, and what is house rule 28? Number 28.
Causing or permitting loud or boisterous noises or any objectionable, abusive, threatening, or hazardous activity by any tenant, family member, or guest is not permitted.
Okay, so were there boisterous noises? And what are some of the examples of things that she's done?
Screaming out at people, cursing people, name calling,
How about music?
loud music.
What time is some of the music playing?
It's mainly at nighttime,
What time?
probably between 8 and 10, sometimes during the day, because I witnessed one of them.
Okay, and on number 40,
The entire first floor or basement or area are considered public and business areas. Therefore, street clothes are to be worn at all times. No bathrooms, pajamas, or tank tops allowed. Shoes must be worn at all times.
so has she violated that also?
Well, she comes out in the hallway with just a shirt, undies.
So she violates it, yes or no?
Yes, sorry.
Okay. Judge, I'm gonna, and who signed, by the way, at the bottom of that?
Valerie Martin
On page 4 of 4,
and myself on 12715.
12715.
Mhm.
Okay, Judge, I'm gonna move to introduce exhibit 2 and 3.
All right, moving to enter the exhibit. We're back to you, Miss Valerie Martin. If you will please unmute to let me know whether you object to the entry of plaintiff exhibit number 3, which again is the house rules. Ma'am?
Yes, ma'am, I object. Do I get a chance to speak?
Ma'am, first I need to know if you are objecting to the entry of the house rules as they were read by Ms. Clark. Ms. Clark, right?
Yes.
Okay, by Ms. Clark. Are you objecting to the information that she read into the record being entered as an exhibit?
I do.
All right, and what is your reasoning for objecting?
Well, the things that she's saying that I do, I have not done.
Okay, all right, so not that, these are not the house rules, you're just giving me your defense. So that comes later.
Oh,
Ma'am,
exactly.
hold on, ma'am, you are gonna have a chance to speak, but that's your defense. So, based on the objection that you noted, I am overruling your objection and I am admitting that exhibit. Mr. Miller, do you have any more testimony from this witness? Because of course, you know, she gets to cross-examine.
I do, very quickly. So, does Miss Martin make a habit of doing all of the things that we just testified to?
It's a constant. It's constant. There's always something or somebody telling me that she's been out in the hallway and she's been screaming or hollering at somebody.
So do you constantly get,
Yes, I do.
Huh?
And plus, I get the phone calls in my office from her person.
all right, so there's no question in your mind that not only is she harassing and interfering with management, but also with the tenants?
Ma'am, you will get your chance to speak. I will have to mute you. Okay.
Also with the tenants. Now, you have in your courtroom with us several witnesses. Can you identify all? You don't have to identify them. Can you identify?
Yes,
And
sure,
do they all live in Hillebrand House?
they do.
So they all live on the 6th floor of Hillebrand House.
There's two here that do not live on the 6th floor that has witnessed other things.
And the other ones witnessed,
They do.
okay? And no, I have no further, I'm gonna pass the witnesses this.
All right, very good. All right, Ms. Valerie Martin, the council has now passed the witness. What that means is that this is your time to cross-examine Ms. Clark. Now, let me share with you, since I know you're not an attorney, what you get to cross-examine her on is her testimony only. So you can only speak to what she has testified before the court today. Do you understand that, Ms. Martin? And I need.
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry my dog's barking because the dog's barking out across the hall. Cindy, I was going to refer to the people that said I called them the N-word. That was, you tried to evict me on that one. And my nurse practitioner came downstairs and told you it was a lie. So you had to put it in your file. So that's a false accusation.
Ma'am, that sounds like a statement, and I know this is hard, but if you've ever watched like Judge Judy, you will notice that, well, that might not be a good example because she controls everything. You get to ask questions to Ms. Clark, okay? So what questions do you have for Ms. Clark?
The question is, did you not try to evict me on the N-word and you were unable to because of testimony by somebody who overheard false accusations? Is that a question?
Yes, that was a perfect question, Ms. Clark.
So, in the past, there has been that,
You can say it, you're in a courtroom.
her next door neighbor had accused her of calling them the N-word, but this was way prior to what's happening and what's been happening as of today. So this has nothing to do with the testimony and the people that I have here that will testify to that.
Now, I'll be honest, I was a little, wait a minute, Miss Martin, I was confused by her answer, so hold on. So has there been a prior court trial on?
Not a trial.
Okay, help me out.
This was just one of her workers that got off. Actually, it was a worker of both parties, like the one that was accused, her, and the one that she accused to use the N-word with. And her worker got off the elevator and did not hear that. So she did come to me and say, look, I don't think this is accurate. And she was a healthcare worker with respect for both of them because she was both of their clients. The clients were both hers.
She was a shared worker.
Yes, and
Okay.
so she wrote
The
something.
Visiting Nurse Association, they were changing my wound bandages. I'd been in the hospital for 7 days.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Martin. Hold on, Miss Martin, I'm still trying to
Hold on.
understand. Hold on, I'm still trying to understand. So you said that we're not talking about that incident, right, Ms.
No,
Clark?
no.
What incident are we speaking of? And we can't try to avoid hearsay, so if you can tell me something that's involving somebody that's in the room, so in case we need to
Mr.
bring.
Johnson.
Okay,
and
speak towards the incident regarding Mr. Johnson since he's in the room.
Correct.
Go ahead. Tell me what, no, you're gonna,
I'm sorry.
the N word, she said it's not about the one she's talking about. What example with regard to the N word are you referring to that she has been alleged to violate on this paperwork here?
So from what I can gather from Mr. Johnson and Valerie, I know that he tried to help her a couple of times going to the doctor and stuff like that. That did not work out. And Mr. Johnson, he come to me, he was very upset because he has a dog, her name's Diamond, and he was coming down the hallway and somehow she got in the hallway and she started just screaming at him. And he come to my office, was upset and said, she keeps calling me the N-word and I don't know why. She's got his phone number and she won't leave him alone today. She is still calling him on her private number and hanging up on him.
Okay,
And
very
this-
good. Let's pause there. That's now we know what the N word we're talking about. All right, so Miss Martin, did you hear that testimony?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Is there anything else you want to add regarding that testimony?
I would like to add that it's not true. It's a lie.
Okay, so you're alleging it's a lie, but do you have any other questions other than being accused of using the N-word? There were several allegations that Ms. Clark spoke about that are the reason why they want you. Ma'am, I'm still talking.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm really trying my best to help you here as much as I can and still being, fair and equitable, because I realize you're not an attorney and you don't have an attorney here with you today. But again, there were several instances and allegations that Ms. Clark spoke on, and I'm asking you, do you want to ask her about any other things you have mentioned?
Yes, ma'am.
Then you may ask those questions.
My question is about the music complaints. I've been here 14 years, Cindy Clark, and you just came up with them in the last 2 months. And you had stated to me on an occasion when I had left for the doctor and I have an Echo, Alexa Amazon Echo, and she continued to play music, and so they came to check on me. Cindy had stated to me, I couldn't hear it in the hallway. I had to put my ear up to the door. Is that correct?
I think there was a question in there somewhere.
I don't know.
Ma'am, okay, you kind of gave some testimony, but let's narrow it down to a question that Ms. Clark can answer. What is the question?
The question is, why she's never, ever complained about my music until the last couple of months. When did it start and who started it? And did you not say to me that you had to put your ear to the door to hear my music? Is that a question?
Great question. Stop there because that had multi-layers. Let her answer. Ms. Clark, if you can
Okay.
answer to the best of your ability.
Okay, so this was 7/17/2024 that we received a complaint about it. In 7/18, so it was going on a couple of days, thing, so it's not the last couple of months, it's been ongoing thing.
And can I ask a question real quick? So Ms. Clark, when you get a noise complaint,
Huh?
can it be from you walking by the door as well as someone else
Yeah,
calling it in?
yeah, and we
Okay,
always
can you
go
tell
and check.
me
So
which
if
way
we
these
get-
went?
If we get a phone call, then we go up there and we'll check. It might take us a few minutes. I mean, we're trying to run the thing, but if it might be me, it might be another staff person that will go up there and they'll knock on the door and ask them to turn it down. Or if they don't answer the door, which was the case of 7/18/24, because it was so loud, she wouldn't answer the door for me. So I give her the letter to come down to see me.
Okay.
Can I ask another question, Your Honor?
Yes, ma'am.
I only have an Echo. It doesn't go so loud. I have a little dog. If anybody walks down the hallway or knocks on the door, she goes berserk. So how and why would I not answer the door?
Okay, I don't know that wasn't alleged. I don't know.
I don't know what,
Let me try to help you out, ma'am, because we've
Yeah, He alleged that they said they tried to knock on the door and I did not answer because the music was too loud, is what she said.
Okay, but that's not one of the reasons why why they want you out. Let's talk about the, was it a package room? Something about a package room. Would you
Yes.
like to ask any questions about her testimony regarding the package room?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, please formulate a question for Ms.
Okay.
Clark about her testimony regarding the package room
And interfering with management.
and interfering with management.
Okay. For one thing, Cindy, I want to ask you a question about your message. It says, "You've reached Cindy Clark. Please leave a message and I'll return your call." You haven't returned a call in the 14 years that I've lived here, ever. And the package room, it wasn't about the package room between me and Travis. It was about, he's bragging on other properties, and why is he not taking care of our property?
Okay, ma'am, again, we need a question. So is the question, why has Miss Cindy not answered your calls or returned your calls in 14 years? Is that the question?
And why is she making all these false statements?
Okay, Ms. Clark.
Valerie, I
Ms.
have,
Clark,
Wait a minute, allow her to answer.
I have returned your calls, but when the calls get out of hand like they have, I quit talking or calling back because all it does is just get you upset. So I'm gonna say that, yes, I have called you back and you know that. I've even come up there and seen you personally. But here lately, and I do have my phone with voicemails on it if that is permissible.
good for you.
Okay, Miss Martin, I think, have we covered, I think we've covered the infractions, the disturbing other residents, et cetera. All right, so Miss Martin, I am going to excuse did you have any redirect for your client,
I
Mr.
don't-
Miller?
I don't.
All right, I'm gonna excuse Miss Clark. All right, and Miss Martin, I now need you to go on mute. Mr. Miller's gonna call his next witness. Mr. Miller.
Can I ask one more question, Your Honor, please?
I'm sorry?
You can
Can I
say,
ask Cindy one more question?
well, maybe not.
Did she say one more question? All right, yes, okay, Miss Martin, you get one more question.
He stated all the bad things that I do to my neighbors. Why are you not stating all the good things, all the gifts? I lend money to people to go to the doctor. I give them food when they don't have food. You and your staff, have you not accepted gift certificates and presents?
I don't know what the question is, Judge, I'm sorry.
I think,
The question
wait a
is,
minute, Miss Martin, hold on. I think Miss Martin is asking, has she ever done good and nice things for the people in the building and staff?
I mean, she has.
Okay, she has, you have, thank you. All right, you're excused. Who is your next witness, Mr. Miller?
Yeah.
Yeah, she has done nice things over the years. Thank you. Mr. Miller, who are you calling next,
I believe
please?
I'm just gonna call one more
Mr. Johnson?
witness, okay?
Okay,
How about Mr. Johnson?
all right. All right, come on up, Mr. Johnson. Come up to the witness, the so-called witness stand.
Cindy, you can stay right there, because you're my representative.
And we might have to recall you for clarification. You never
Put your
know.
hand-
All right.
Stand up.
Good afternoon,
Stand up.
sir. Thank you for being here. Will you please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give this afternoon is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Very good. You may be seated, and Mr. Miller is going to ask you some questions, and then again, Ms. Martin will have an opportunity to cross-examine you, okay?
State your full name, please, and tell us where you live.
My name is Raymond Johnson. I live at 60.
And is that the same floor that Ms. Martin lives on?
Yes, it is.
Same floor that the other persons that were down here that all live in the same floor?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mr. Martin, I'm sorry, Mr. Johnson, has Ms. Martin been, I'm gonna say, verbally abusive to you in any manner?
Yeah, she had.
Okay, could you explain that to the court in your own words?
I don't like to be called NIG.
You can say the word.
No, I don't like to be called.
Well,
nigger.
okay, there you go. You need to say it. It's an ugly,
I don't
nasty
wanna
word.
be
I'm
called a
sorry.
nigger.
Well,
I
you
don't
shouldn't.
call
Okay,
you-
go ahead.
White trash or nothing like that. So I don't appreciate that.
Okay.
I don't appreciate the way you talk to me when you do come out in the hallway.
How often does she come out in the
She done
hallway?
come out in the hallway 2 or 3 times with nearly nothing on, and I really wanna, I'm a nice guy.
Just
And
testify to the court.
and I just wanna, really cuss out real bad, but I'm not gonna do that. I just walk away, I say certain things. I don't like to get upset. I got a heart problem. And I'm going through changes because I got a tiptoe when I go by her door, cause she's running a mouth.
What? Why do you have to tiptoe?
Because I don't wanna hear her mouth. I don't
And-
wanna go through these changes anymore.
How long have you lived there?
I done lived there about 3.5
And
years.
how long has this been going on?
It's been going on at least 2 years.
Is it
2 years.
nonstop?
Yes, I don't like the phone call, the private, the nigga, or this, that. I get tired of hearing that. I even watched your dog for you when you was in the hospital. I the one that would come over and fed Chloe, clean up her mess for you, and then you talk to me like I'm nothing?
Sir, has there ever been any issues with the police and you?
Yeah, the police came at my door because I had the garbage sitting out in front of the door on the mat because I was mopping my
And
floor.
what was your understanding of the police coming there?
I just asked them what's going on, and they told me that a lady had called about your garbage, and you need to go ahead and state that.
Do you know who the lady was?
Yeah, the lady told me it was Valerie.
Martin?
Yes, sir.
What about the music? How often do you hear this?
Every day. Every day because you drink all the time.
Who
So when
drinks?
she does,
Oh, no.
vodka, drinking, you turn your music up, you're singing. I don't want to hear that every day. Not every day. I don't like all that every day. I don't feel good every day. So why should I have to hear it?
Do your other neighbors complain also?
Yeah, they complaining. Everybody complains. Knocking on people's door, running out half naked.
What do you mean half naked?
Half naked with a shirt on, a tank top. Me and you wear a tank top. That's not for a lady. A tank top.
I wouldn't look very good in a tank top anyway.
Well, she doesn't have, she just say little things. Your body looks like this. I don't know how my body's supposed to look. That was on my phone. Just different things that she does. It's not right.
What was her pattern from I'm just gonna go from July on? Did it get worse? Did it get better? Was it continuous?
Continuous.
Huh?
Continuous. Music. Meddling. When you walk down the hallway.
What about in the middle of the night?
I haven't got bothered in the middle of the night. Well, after 12 o'clock, she's knocking at this lady's door and Jenna's door across the hall from me. And I got up a couple times and looked, and there she was running off at the mouth about her dog.
Do you like living in where you live?
I like living where I live at. It's okay, but Miss Valerie's getting on my nerve.
Can you stay there if she stays there?
No, sir. I don't want to stay there if she got to stay there. I shouldn't have to.
Okay, I have no further questions, Judge. I'm gonna pass the witness.
Thank you very much. Thank you, sir.
Thank
All right, Miss Valerie, you may now unmute.
You need to answer her
Yes,
question.
that's great. You say I drink vodka constantly. My doctor says I can have 1 drink a day if I eat with it.
Can I answer that?
Yes.
Well, why did I go to the store for you and get you 4 bottles of the gallons and you 1 drink a day?
That's for months because I have the money.
Whoa, man,
Why don't you admit you drink wine all the time and you're blown out of your mind?
Why? Because you bought me wine trying to be nice to me. I don't need you to do nothing for me.
Okay,
I do for
hold on.
myself.
Okay,
You
hold
bought
on.
me wine watching and you
Hold on,
told
we're
me
losing a little
wine
control.
you like.
Hold on, we're losing control here. Would you
Yeah,
like to,
just because I'm
Ma'am?
sick of lying. I'm sick
Bobby,
and tired of
right.
wait, it's Mr. Johnson, right? Hold on, Mr.
I'm
Johnson.
sorry.
No,
Miss-
liar.
I understand you're upset. Everybody's upset. Miss Martin,
Yes,
Let's,
ma'am.
let's stay on track. Would you like to ask him anything about what he said? So what were folks, you're not being put out because you drink vodka. I didn't see that. I didn't know anything about vodka till a few minutes ago, okay? So that's not one of the reasons why you're being put out because you drink vodka. So let's, why they want to terminate your lease. But it is about the N word. Would you like to ask a question about the N word?
Ray, you know I've never called you the N-word. I've done very nice things for you and your dog.
Ma'am, that's testimony. You may ask him a question or we can move on.
Why are you lying about the N-word?
Would you like to respond to
It's on
that?
my phone. You know what, Miss Valerie? I even went to the phone people and asked the lady about messages like that. She told me if I would have got a program, it would have stayed in there for a whole year, but it cleared. It cleared so it wasn't on. If I had it, I would let you hear it.
Okay, so are you saying now that it was only on your phone that
Yes,
she called you
ma'am,
the
it's on
N-word?
phone. She never, phone on my phone. She had
Is
never
that
called.
voicemail, text?
Yes, ma'am.
Both?
Voicemail.
Okay, so you're saying she sent it on a voicemail. She
Mhm.
didn't yell it out in the hall.
And in person.
What about
In person. Yep.
In person also?
Yeah, she done called me Zach.
Okay. All right, would you like to ask Mr. Johnson any other questions, ma'am?
I would like to ask, he says that I've been calling him constantly all the time. I haven't called him in months. And I have never, ever accosted him in the hall. You know that's true, Raymond. Have I not bought you and your animal gifts? Have you, people on this floor have taken money
So the
from
answer
me.
is yes,
No.
Mr. Johnson.
Yeah.
Okay, he said yes, the both, you have bought his animals and him gifts. All right, ma'am, finally, I think the other thing that you are, being alleged to do is to, Mr. Johnson, I don't want to misquote you, but it was something about her coming out in the hall in a tank top and underwear. Ma'am, would you like to ask a question? I'm sorry, I haven't.
Tops in there.
Do you want to ask him a question about that, ma'am?
Yeah, okay. So, Ray, is my tank top not almost down to my knees? It's not, it's like something that I sleep in, Ray.
And I don't want to see that.
I don't want to see you. Didn't you come after me when you came after me?
I object. That's,
Point the
Objection,
paper in my
you're
face?
testifying, ma'am, you're testifying, ma'am, you're gonna get an opportunity to testify in just 1 minute. So Mr. Johnson, she really did ask you a question. Is her tank top to her knees?
Nope.
Okay. Would you like to describe for the court how long her tank top is and do you see anything else when she has the tank top on?
No, I don't look. I see
You
it
don't
and
look
then
like-
I see it and then I turn around.
Okay, all right. But you mentioned earlier to the court that you could see her underwear.
Yes,
Is that
ma'am.
correct?
Yes, ma'am. I have.
Okay, and I understand you don't want to see it and you don't want to look, but I'm trying to get to the truth of the matter here.
I have.
Okay, was that disturbing to you, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, very good. All right, Miss Martin, I believe you've covered all the issues that they've laid out here with regard to Mr. Johnson. You didn't have any redirect, did you?
I do not judge him.
Okay.
I've got 3 or 4 other witnesses that I'll hold for rebuttal if necessary.
Okay.
How about
All right,
that?
he's holding 3 or 4 more witnesses, ma'am, for rebuttal if need be, meaning that if there's something that he needs to bolster his argument, that he will have these, I'm looking at, is it 5 or 6 people in the courtroom that are willing to testify if needed? But right now, I believe I've heard enough from Mr. Miller, and the plaintiff regarding the Hillebrand house. So ma'am, now comes your opportunity to testify on your own behalf. And of course, you will be subject to cross-examination as well. Now, if you choose not to testify, Miss Valerie Martin, you don't have to. So if you'll again unmute and let me know if you are willing to, or if you would like to testify.
Sorry, I did. I thought I did.
Would you like to testify on your own behalf, ma'am? And this would be the time that you're going to give your defense.
Well, I would like to say.
Wait a minute, ma'am. Wait a minute. You have to answer yes or no because I have to swear
Yes.
you. Okay. Ma'am, I need you to raise your right hand. Tell me when it is raised.
It's raised.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, very good. Now, since you don't have an attorney to interview you, to ask you the questions, I'm going to allow you to give testimony. We'll call this like a narrative, ma'am, where you're going to tell me everything you want me to know about everything that we've talked about with regard to your living at Hillebrand. I believe since 2015. Is that when when was the first time?
I think it was
2013?
13,
Okay,
yeah.
so ma'am, you can tell me what's going on at Hillebrand and why that this court should not fine for Hillebrand House. You may begin.
Well, I have lived here for 14 years. Is it not 2025? Is that the correct date, Mr. Miller? I signed a lease on 2011. Do the math. Just had to say
Remember,
that.
this is your testimony. You're going to tell the court a story, and you're going to
Okay.
tell me why I should not find that you should have to move. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so continue.
Well, like I said, I've lived here 14 years, never missed a rent payment, and now all of a sudden, in the last few months, he's so upset with me, and they're all going to swear against me, and it's not true. It's half-truths. There's two sides to the story, Your Honor, and my side is with the things that Cindy, why did she overlook them for 14 years and just bring them up now? And the thing about the N-word stuff, she tried to evict me previously, and the nurse who was changing my bandages was off the elevator and heard the conversation and went down there and told her that it's just not true. That's not what she said. Cindy never apologized. She just, I'll put it in your file. Like I'm just a piece of trash. You're just, screw you. They lie on you. And just like that lie, she tried to get me out. The things that she talks about continuously call, and I call sometimes continuously, because she never returns a call. Never returns a call. And I try to call about the bed bugs and the roaches. And the thing about the package room, Your Honor, I wasn't upset with Travis over the package room. I was upset with Travis over on his website. He's talking about opening up new properties, and our property's not even being taken care of. This is my home. This is my home. I have nowhere to go and no way to get there. And I treat it like my home. And all of these accusations are half-truths. They're not all true.
Would you like to tell the court do you have a list of things that are not true that have been said today, ma'am?
Like Cindy always said, I harass the staff. I do this and that and the other. They take gift certificates from me. They take money from me. They take gifts. She's got gifts from me in her office. They've all got gifts from me in their home. The neighbors that she says I so terribly harass still knock on my door to this day to ask for money to go to the doctor. And several of them have said, we don't want you to go. I gave them food when they didn't have anything to eat. It's just not true. I'm not a bad, horrible person, and it's just not true.
Is there anything else that you want to say before I pass to Mr. Miller?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Mr. Miller needs to,
Mr. Miller now gets to ask you questions, ma'am, about what you testified to. Mr. Miller passes. Thank you very much, ma'am. I appreciate your testimony today. I appreciate you being here. I wish you were here in person, but I know that, as you said, that you have medical reasons why you were not able to be in the court today. So of course that is understandable. I'm thankful that you are able to be here via phone. based on the testimony that I've heard both in the room and on the Zoom today, ma'am, that I've heard from Ms. Clark as well as Mr. Johnson, it is the court's ruling that I am finding for Hillebrand House, ma'am. I am going to be signing the judgment, ma'am. It is the court's belief that you have broken the house rules. It is the court's belief, based on the testimony, that you have made it very difficult for the folks who live there with you to live there in peace and quiet enjoyment. I don't know. I know it's tough. You've been there, you said 14 years this year. But apparently some things, ma'am, I'm talking. I will put you on mute. Let me mute her. Okay. But unfortunately, it sounds like things have gotten progressively worse based on the testimony that I've heard. These folks, the other tenants, are allowed to live in peace and enjoyment, quiet enjoyment of their homes. They should not feel like they cannot, that they have to leave because of your behavior. They should be able to enjoy their homes just as you can enjoy yours. In addition, the staff should not have to deal with the allegations of the behavior that they have had to deal with, ma'am. So I will be signing the judgment today, dated today's date, ma'am, which is 3/24/25. Again, judgment signed 3/24/25. You have 7 days, ma'am, to appeal this judgment. You also, if you do not plan on appealing the judgment, ma'am, then you would need to start finding somewhere to move quickly, because in 7 days, Mr. Miller and the Hillebrand House group will be able to go and ask for an eviction warrant, and they will be able to ask the sheriff's office to start getting ready for a set out, ma'am. And I imagine after 14 years, you have quite a bit of items in there. So please move quickly. Again, that is the ruling of the court, ma'am. And everyone is excused. Thank you so much. That is the end of this docket.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Thank you all, everybody, for being here. Thank you for your time. All right, take care. Shutting down the Zoom. Thank you.
Happy spring break.
Thank you.
I'll be house sitting. I'm not.
Oh, okay. I'll be at home working on something. It's not gonna be anything fun, I assure you. All right, take care.
Are you kidding me?
Oh my God.
You have got to be kidding me. What is going on today? This is a joke. Today is an interpreter.
I need an interpreter when I cannot express myself somehow.
Oh my God, sir, put that cigarette out. I don't give a crap that you are outside and what is wrong with everybody today? You know what, Miss Reed, we're gonna start bringing people in for we're gonna learn how to act in a courtroom.
Can you hear it? Can you hear it? Ma'am? Ma'am? Can you hear it? Okay.
Come and go, so
I'm sitting up here, I'm the one that needs a drink.